right, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. We are live. We should be live.
What up, YouTube?
Boom. Like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those free fun things for us while we're kicking it off here. Boom. It's good to be back. Yeah. Back in studio.
Back in Jersey.
Back in Jersey.
Welcome back.
Right?
Happy to have you back in the good old NJ.
I'm happy to be back. You know, it's
Sinkhole Central.
It is, and I don't miss the traffic. I don't miss the weather. There are definitely certain things that, Florida just, it's better certain times of year, and this is one of those times of year where just a nice little getaway.
Yeah, April's been a roller coaster so far, that's for sure, with the weather. But out of curiosity, because I've never been out of Jersey for that long of an extended period of time, right? Basically 3 full weeks you were gone?
It was 24, 25 days, so yeah, about 3.5 weeks.
Okay, so 3.5 weeks out of New Jersey. What were you most excited to come back and eat? Because Florida can't touch us with pizza. They can't touch us with bagels. They can't touch us with breakfast sandwiches.
No, but they got my favorite breakfast spot of all time is down there. They got this place called the Boulevard. Best breakfast food. It's like they're only open breakfast and lunch. Phenomenal. So I'll say that. So they don't have the breakfast sandwiches. I agree. They don't have like that kind of stuff. But I don't go there for that stuff. Like that's the time of year where, like, to be honest, I go down there because I can get things down there I can't get up here. So to answer your question first, I'm going to tell you what I can get in Florida that I look forward to every year that I can't get up here.
Okay.
Fish tacos. Blackened fish tacos. I'm telling you, whether it's mahi, my professional, my opinion is get the grouper if you got an option for grouper. But the fish tacos in Florida when you're on the water watching the sunset just absolutely hit different. Like it is just a different.
Okay.
It's just something about it. It's amazing. The prices aren't super crazy. Everything's it's fresh. It's caught right there. I'm telling you. That I look forward to. The other stupid thing, you want to know the stupidest thing I look forward to, though? And it is stupid to say, but there's this place down there. They got it down there. They don't have it up here. They should. They need to franchise it up here. I've been telling my wife, we need to franchise it up here. It's a place called White Duck. It's White Duck Espresso. It's like a Starbucks, but it's awesome. But at the same at the same point, like it's like because I don't want to give it a bad name because it's really good and everybody should go there, but it's like a methy Starbucks. Like, okay. like everybody there just has like a kind of a certain look about them. They're super nice and they're amazing people and they make phenomenal drinks. Like I get the smoothies from there all the time. They are to die for. The espresso, their coffee, excellent. My wife likes it. My sister, my mom, everybody. But they only have them down there. They got 2 locations really close to where we're at down there, but they don't have any up here. Again, not huge franchise, but I look forward to White Duck as much as I look forward to anything else. But what I miss about up here, though, to bring it back home, what I miss about the food up here is, you miss the Italian. You miss Chinese. They have Asian restaurants down there. They have sushi places. They have They do not have good Chinese food.
Okay.
Like, you're not getting anything close to a Hunan taste down in Florida.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. I don't care where you go in the entire state.
Shout out to Hunan Taste. I haven't had them in so long.
Best. I will say it's the best in the state. I'll hands down. I'll die on that hill that Hunan Taste in Denville is the best Chinese food in the state of New Jersey.
I'm going my newfound gem up in Sakasana, Lung Yung.
Lung Yung.
Best Chinese food I ever had.
Really? Because I gotta tell you,
like it's a 15-minute drive for me to go get this, and I will go. Like, there's 2 Chinese places by my house that are less than 3 minutes away, and I will drive the 15 minutes to go pick it up. Put the seat warmer on before I go into the store.
So what is it about it? Now I know we're getting way off topic.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with sports.
Has nothing to do with it, but I'm telling you, I'm super intrigued.
Important topics here, man.
It's super intriguing because to me the most important thing is the fried rice. Like you got to have a good fried rice. Like, is it so what is it about it for you that makes it?
So I am the most predictable Chinese food eater in the world. I get chicken and broccoli every single time, never get anything different. It's always chicken and broccoli, which is why I probably eat Chinese food maybe just once a month or once every other month. Like I don't eat it religiously.
Because you only eat one thing.
Because I only eat one thing. But man, it's like the chicken tastes like real chicken. You know what I mean? Like you don't get any of those pieces that you bite into, you start chewing, you're like, there's something not right about that one. So we're just gonna put that over the portion size, the sauce, the broccoli's always cooked the right way. Their fried rice is pretty damn good, no denying that. Their dumplings, their pork fried dumplings, amazing. Yeah, I like
wonton soup.
Wonton soup, have not had there yet. I've tried their orange chicken. That was really good. My mom loves their egg foo young. Amanda loves their vegetable lo mein. Like literally best Chinese food I've like. One of the few Chinese food places where I'll actually happily go sit and eat at.
Okay.
Like it is beyond good. And again, Hunan taste is no joke. Like I am.
Plus the experience. Sometimes if you go there to eat, the experience of being there, we may have to do like a meetup in like Roxbury. Have you pick up Hunan taste on the ride up? I'll pick up Young Lung or we'll
Lung
do a little
Young
taste
on the ride
off
down, and we'll do a little taste off.
That's not a bad idea.
Like we'll get my chicken because chicken and broccoli is all I'm gonna.
I'll eat chicken and broccoli too, though. So if you want to compare them,
maybe one of your favorites from Hunan,
I would normally get a General Taos.
I see. I'll rock with General Taos. I will definitely rock. So maybe we might have to do one of those, and we just split them half and half, and we say, all right,
which one?
And no matter what I will say, whoever's wrong is still going to be as happy as the person that was right. So that's one of those die on the hills. We don't have to worry about slapping with tortillas because both of us will walk away with a smile if we do that one. So,
right?
I mean, but shout out to the couple people in our chat. I am sure you did not join.
So listen to that.
We got our Fighting Irishman. Shout out Timmy. I'm sure you guys did not join to hear us talk about Chinese food, but I just needed to know what you were missing because I know if I was gone that long, a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese would be first on my list. A good slice of pizza. I haven't been to Florida in so long. It's almost 15 years since the last time.
Pizza's getting better down there.
Okay.
It's getting
better because you got more people from Jersey moving down there. That's
I'm just saying it's getting. It's not at our level, but it's getting better.
Boneless spare rib combo.
Another thing I go down there for that I don't eat a lot of up here because one, there's not a lot of spots, and two, it's just not as good as when it's in the South. Barbecue. One of those things that I don't eat all the time, but I will eat when I go down to Florida because it's better down there than it is up here.
The one thing about Jersey barbecue is 90% of places where you get barbecue, you can tell they basically just bought a bottle of barbecue sauce from like ShopRite. Right? Like it's like when you go to down south, like when I was in Austin back in November, like that barbecue, I've never had anything like that in my life. And it was just beyond amazing. So completely with you on that. But look, let's get the people what they wanted. Oh crap! Wait, I got to shout out Marissa. If you remember Marissa Doobie,
shout out.
I mean, I haven't seen or heard that name in a long time. Marissa, shout out to you joining. Yes, we were talking Chinese food because Eric spent the last 21 plus days
down in
Florida. So I was dying to know what he missed the most about Jersey. You being a PA person, I just got to say, please don't talk about it being pork roll because it is Taylor ham and I don't want to hear anything else. She said Waymart Hotel Pizza. I don't know if that a Florida thing maybe. If it's a PA thing, you guys also can't touch us in pizza when it comes out of Jersey. But that pork roll Taylor ham argument, I have that every day at work and I will never give up on that fight. That is a hill I will die on.
That's a North Jersey hill to die on. That is a North Jersey hill to die on.
With Easter coming, I will resurrect myself on that hill and die on it again. That's how invested to it being called Taylor ham for me. But
shout out to Marissa. Thank you for joining. Shout out to Timmy.
Timmy with us.
Shout out to Carl if he's out there listening too. I know he normally checks in. But yeah, shout out to everybody out there listening. Hit that like, subscribe, share, follow, do all those free fun things for us as we get into it here.
So you said you had something for us to start with, and you wouldn't even tell me what it is. So
because it's such a weird story. Because when I saw it, I thought I was getting punked. Like when I read it, I had to double check that I was on ESPN and not like reading it off of some like weird site. But did you hear about the quarterback from Tennessee? Have you heard about that? Do you know? And what blows my mind is he has the like. How'd you ever think he was staying? with the name I'm a leaving. There's no chance of him a staying. Like, it just blew my mind. It just was something that was funny to me because I'm like, they're either literally talking about a guy whose last name is I'm a leaving. Of course he's leaving because you're not giving him the money he wants. Now, I also think it's absolutely ridiculous. He made $2.5 million, I believe, last year at Tennessee. He wants $4 million. Okay. He wants $1.5 million more. He didn't win a national championship. I'm sorry. Like, $2.5 million seems like you're making plenty to be the quarterback at Tennessee. You know what I mean? Like, no shade to Tennessee. They're a good program, and, you know, I'm sure I'm a leaving's going to go somewhere, and, you know, but
he'll find us $4 million if there's a school that thinks he's worth it. I mean, not that the school
I don't
themselves
know.
are writing the check,
Somebody's going to find it because Tennessee gave him his walking papers. He didn't show up to a Friday practice, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we're done with you.
Yeah, you can go." And look,
it's one thing to have a dispute and then still show up and do the work. It's completely different when you just say, "No, give me more money," or I'm not even showing up.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a very fine line. It's a awkward situation because it's still so new when it comes down to these college players getting paid and actually getting paid legally, right? Like this isn't like a Reggie Bush situation, right? Like they're getting paid legally. And I think to me, right, when I think about the whole NIL situation, like, I mean, these kids are helping these colleges make hundreds of millions of dollars. So I'm all for them getting paid. And I think one of the biggest things, though, is that, like, how do we say, you know what, you're still a student athlete, like, you're getting a scholarship, you're required to show up. This is, like, the NIL is on top of your scholarship. It shouldn't be used as a bargaining chip. But at the same time, a lot of these guys are not guaranteed to make any type of money in the NFL. You know, they get drafted outside of like the third round. They're making basically, you know, a couple $100,000 a year, and that's it. And they may never get a second contract. So in my eyes, I genuinely believe they deserve to get the money that they're trying to get. What I don't agree with is that it's being used as a bargaining chip in this type of scenario. It's one thing that they're like, hey, I'm entering the transfer portal. I want to go play for another school because I know I'll get more playing time, whatever. And then the NIL money follows. But to use it as a bargaining chip and try to negotiate with a school that's giving you a free education, you kind of lose me on that one, right? It's just, there's got to be some line that says, hey, like, this is as far as you can take it. Because, again, you're getting a free education. I graduated college almost 14 years ago. I still owe as much money now as I did 14 years ago because of the interest rates and the crap that they pull on you, right? It also didn't help that I graduated college during our recession and there was no job, so I wasn't making money and payments on them when I first graduated. But either way, like 14 years later, with 10 of those 14 years of me making payments every month, and I still basically owe the exact same dollar amount that I owed when I graduated school.
It's
so sick. It's hard for me to sit here and feel bad for the guy making $2.5 million plus getting a free education. It's hard for me to just take your side.
And again, it's not like he's the amazing, like the be all end all prospect out there where everybody's clamoring to get this guy. Right now, UCLA is prepared to give him less than he was getting at Tennessee last year. So this is like, to me, you ever see that episode of Seinfeld where they're going for the pilot and Jerry lets George do the negotiating and they offered him $13,000 and by the time George's done negotiating, they only got $8,000. Like, this is where it's stupid to me. Like, you're negotiating backwards here, buddy. Like, you were making good money within 4 years at Tennessee. If he had stayed there, he would have made $10 million at Tennessee. I'm sorry, you're in college. By the time you're 21, 22 years old, and you're going to make $10 million by the time you're 21 years old, 22 years old, I'm sorry. That's a lot of money. And the people investing in this kid, the people around him, should be telling him, like, dude, you know, bird in the hand is worth through the bush. You got it, the contract here. You got it. Like, you're making millions. You're going to push for 4 a year? Like, and piss everybody off? For what reason? To then now transfer to UCLA and make less money? Like, how did that benefit anybody? How does this benefit him as a player? It doesn't, in my opinion. And that, to me, is where I'm like, who is out there advising this kid because he needs to get a new group of advisors?
I feel like it would be a nice upgrade moving from Tennessee to California. I'll say that.
The weather's about it.
But like, see, I'm just an ocean guy, right? So like, I could never live in a landlocked state. Like, I never could. Like, I would literally feel trapped. I love knowing that the ocean is an hour drive from where I live. Like that is a comforting feeling for me, right? So like, that's something that, I'll probably take a little less money. But again, I think it goes like, and it also is one of those things, right? You are not, who are you? Right? Like, I literally never heard of this kid until this story came out. So who are you? Right? It's one thing when you are, I mean, even Manning in Texas, right? Yeah. Has he started a full season yet? No. But he carries a name, and the games he did start or play in, he showed that he has the potential to be the guy, right? So, yeah, take that name and take what you've shown on the field and swing that around and demand for things that you want to demand, because you earn that right. And I think that's another miss in this scenario, is that I literally have never even heard of this kid until this story broke.
And apparently nobody else has either.
So
because
what do you
nobody's interested in him. Nobody. Dude, he's going to go from a power conference, one of the best conferences in all of college football, playing at a school that could is easily could be ranked in the top 10, is going to go to UCLA, where he's going to fall out of oblivion. Yeah. Whoever advised him, he needs a new set of advisors. Maybe he could turn this career around. But that's where I had to start today, because when I heard I'm leaving, and then I was like, I literally thought I was being punked. I thought I was being punked with the name, because I'm like, yeah, he really is leaving, huh? Like, yeah, it was one of those silly things. And I think he's out of his damn mind, and he needs a new set of advisors around him. Listen, if it's his parents advising him, then please, please get some other help around you. Like, tell your parents in a nice way, like, you're good. Like, I need some better advice here, because he cost himself millions at this point, which is now generational, because the $10 million he would have made at Tennessee, he's not going to make. He's going to make less money now. So now, instead of having $10 million in the bank, what's he going to have? 8, 7, 6? Who knows what he's going to have now? But he just lost what could be generational wealth. What could be the difference between him never having to work again and now having to still go find a job somewhere. I mean, like that kind of money.
I don't know, in today's world, the $10 million puts you in a position where you never have to work again.
No, it probably doesn't.
Unless you're really smart. Yeah. If you're really smart, right? You write investments and things like that. Then that is
but clearly, I don't think we're dealing with very much smarts on this.
No, so I don't see him, buying the right stock and quadrupling his money before he's 30. So, yeah. But I mean, and that's the other thing, right? Like, outside of social media influencers and only fan models, they're really the only people between the ages of 18 and 22 years old that can even talk about this type of money.
Oh yeah,
and to throw some of it away because you demanded more, and like. He played a hand and he lost. It's that simple.
He lost. He lost big time.
So like I said, I mean, yes, for me, going from Tennessee to California, would love that when it comes down to the weather and being near the ocean. But yeah, no, I'd sacrificing $1.5 million a year over 4, so that's that's $6 million basically over a 4-year time span. Like that is different. That money can make a difference in your life, your parents' life, your family's life, if you have kids or a wife or anything like. So yeah, but I mean, I think the funniest part is we just touched on how we never heard of this kid before today, and by next week we will never hear of this kid again.
Yep, that's the way it's going to go. This story's going to fade away,
and it's not going to make him more money. It's actually costing him money. You played it wrong.
But that's actually a great transition into the next topic to talk about. And I'm going to call this the Knuckleheaded News of the Week. The dumbest thing I've heard all week.
Beyond this?
Okay. Also staying in the world of college football, though. Schroeder Sanders, Travis Hunter, getting their numbers retired at Colorado this coming season. Make it make sense, Dave, because you guys and I saw it only pointed out, so shout out to whoever online pointed it out first, but I knew somebody had to have played at Colorado before these two. Cordell Stewart had them in the top 10, had a couple really good seasons at Colorado. Cordell Stewart's number's not retired. Why are we retiring Schroeder Sanders, who may be a top couple pick in the league? But again, these are two guys that finished around 500 for their career. Neither of them won a bowl game. No, they never won the conference championship. They've never actually, yes, they're high prospects, but does being a high prospect automatically mean your number gets retired? That to me is absurd. Make it make sense.
First and foremost, like I mentioned in the chat, and it's so funny that you went right to this because Timmy threw it in the chat, as we were wrapping up talking about,
Oh, you got to talk about this.
I am a Leva, or whatever, however you say it. So your timing was perfect. Timmy, I get the feeling you had some insight on this. Maybe Eric looped you in, like, hey, this is going to come next. I don't know. But anyway, so I a couple thoughts on this, right? One, the power of Deion Sanders and the influence he has over Colorado as a whole, right? I guarantee you, he's the one that put this in their brains. Whoever the decision makers are that
I'm not
would
denying
do this,
that. Mm-hmm.
Guarantee he's the one that put this in his brain or in their brains. Sanders, look, the kid shows some upside, but you even hear it as the last couple weeks have gone by leading up to the draft, which I'm pretty sure we'll talk really kind of next week.
Yeah,
with the draft being next Thursday. So we'll get into opinions of these draft picks and how we think some of this stuff will unfold specifically with our teams and what we'd like to see. But anyway, Sanders to me, if you remove his name, he has no right to even be in this conversation. Like, he shouldn't even be considered for it because you see his name actually dropping down boards. Like, a lot of people think that the Giants because the Giants sent a lot of people to there. I think a lot of the Giants went there with the hopes and thoughts that they're going to be able to snag him with their second round pick. They're not.
Trade back into the first.
I do not see them using the number 3 overall pick.
I'm hearing a lot of talk about Abdul Carter. Again, we'll get into all this next week, but I'm becoming more and more of a fan of that pick.
So I think that's one.
Tweeted out a picture of Lawrence Taylor too.
It was emotional, I'm sure.
I was like, oh, you want to all right. I'm with you.
So I think that the other part of this is that with Hunter, what he did in the last 2 years, playing both sides of the ball and playing it at, a all level skill set across college football on both sides of the ball, I can understand it a little bit more. But like, to me, when you're retiring somebody's jersey, that person brought something to the school or to the team, whatever it is, right? Championships, they brought them from, the lowest. Like, that's one thing they do have is, like, they were one of the lowest attendance schools in D1, and they were crushing their attendance records across the board, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't see how that justifies a retired jersey. Like, there is no way for me to make sense for you on this one. Like, I can't explain it to you. I don't think it makes any sense. I think it is strictly Colorado is trying to capitalize on the hype train that Deion Sanders is creating.
The hype, though, at some point we're all going to realize it's not real. And let me ask you, I'm going to pose this question to you, or pose this question to you. You just actually posed Travis Hunter. What's harder to do? What Travis Hunter did this year playing both ways at Colorado, or what Shohei Ohtani does both playing the field and pitching and hit and doing everything that Ohtani does? And go ahead.
Look, I may not be a baseball fan, but I'll be the first one to admit there's nothing harder in sports to do than to hit a pitch. Whether it's a fastball, a curveball, a sinker, a screwball, like I don't care what pitch it is. There's nothing harder to do in sports than to hit a baseball, right? Like, I saw something the other day. There's some guy that, like, this was maybe like 2 weeks ago, but he was batting 400 through the start of the season, and I was just like, that's ludicrous. And yet, that's only 4 out of every 10 pitches he's hitting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, that tells you how hard that is. You celebrate guys that can bat around 300. That's 3 out of every 10 pitches that they hit.
3 out of every 10
that they can actually put in play and get on base. Mm-hmm. That tells you how hard that is. So I will say Ohtani being able to be the batter that he is and be the pitcher that Well, he was. I don't know if he's pitching this year.
Not this year because of the Tommy John. He'll be back, I think, to pitching next year.
So, like,
but as a pitcher, he's a very good pitcher, an above-average pitcher.
I don't really put much solace in guys playing in the outfield. I think the infield's a hell of a lot harder than the outfield is. Especially, like, there's a reason why shortstop is such a respected position because of how much ground you have to cover and the reaction time that you need. So I think the infield in baseball is a hell of a lot harder to play than the outfield. I mean, there's games where you literally see a guy and he never does anything the entire game because the ball just never comes to him, right? But I would say what Ohtani does is harder than
Hunter.
Hunter, thank you. I got Sanders stuck in my head. What Hunter does, very simply, just due to the difficulty of the game itself. With that said, the fact that there are the majority of NFL scouting departments and the experts you see on ESPN and all these other stations, the fact is that there's not a single person I've heard say that he shouldn't go top 10 for either position. Like, that tells you how good this kid is. But to bring things full circle and back, just because you're that damn good doesn't mean you deserve your jersey to be retired. Bring us a bowl game. Bring us a national championship. Bring us something like that. And the problem is with football, it's impossible for one guy to make that much of a difference. One guy can get you over the hump, but you need a team good enough to even be at that hump for that difference maker to do that for you. And he's not going to get drafted by a single team that he's going to be able to do that.
You're 100% right.
So to me, if you're going to retire his jersey, let him play his NFL career. Let him get through his NFL career. Let him earn the accolades in the NFL and say, hey, that guy started here. We're putting his name up in the rafters. That's how you do it. You don't just say, hey, you had 3 great years with us, and it was a lot of fun to watch you play, and you made some great highlights, so up in the rafters you go. That's just... You know how many NBA players would have their jerseys retired if that's how you handled retiring jerseys?
Oh my God!
How many college basketball players would have their jerseys retired?
It's just a slippery slope too. How many college football players? Not every great college football player comes out into the NFL and does great. Ryan Leaf.
He got drafted before Peyton Manning.
Are you putting him in the rafter?
No,
you know what I mean?
Not.
That's what I mean. It's an interesting topic, but at the same time, I think we're both in agreement. They do, in our opinions, and we'll both die on the hill, they shouldn't be getting their jerseys retired now. See how the career plays out. If it's worthy at the end of the day, then you do it. If it's not, then, you can look back and say, I'm glad we didn't do that. But right out of the gate, before they're even drafted, to announce the retirement, to me, is just... It's jumping the gun.
It's media headlines. It's click it bait and whatever game they do it at, right? That game's going to sell out. They know that game's going to sell out.
Yep.
They're going to time it. They'll most likely wait till whatever team drafts him schedule to come out to do it the week they have a bye week so that they can have him at the game. Like it's more of a media event. Let's make money. I think than hey, like. This guy just meant everything to our school, and we can't imagine anybody else wearing that jersey. Like, I think that's the thought process behind this, and we've died on the hill and have never stopped saying that nothing stops that dollar bill and the shield, and I'm sure the NFL even loves this. Let's get more hype on this kid's name so people are watching to see where he gets drafted. Not shot that wouldn't surprise me at all if they have some
maybe, but to me, in a way, I think it turns some teams off because I don't know. I just, as a GM, is this the type? I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't love it, I don't hate it, but if I'm weighing all the options and I gotta, and this is, it could be a something that tips a scale.
I don't know if it would do that because
I think this.
Unless this kid called the school himself and was like, "I was so good for you, you got to retire my jersey." Now you're like, okay, now you're a cocky person. I don't like that. Like, then that's a little different.
But if you notice, Sanders starting to fall a bit.
He is. That's what I mean. That's why I think
Hunter, to be honest with you, like I was hearing about him 1, 2, 3. Like I'm hearing about him after Carter now. I'm hearing about him after Ward. I'm hearing about him after other players now. So is he falling too? Like that's what I'm just worried about. But either way, I think they both could be good on the next level. We're gonna have to wait and see. I have never had much faith in this quarterback class. I think the next one next year is going to be a better class. But I'm going to be interested to see what Sanders and what Hunter do coming out with all of this hype, because I just hope they're able to back it up, and I hope they're able to show on the next level that they can, and that this is, just the start of something great and not just a flash in the pan.
I think what this conversation proves is we're going to have a lot of fun next week.
I'll just say one thing about I've somebody from the Giants organization. I'm not sure if it was Dable. I'm not sure if it was front office, but they've come out and said that they could see playing Hunter both ways. And I'm like, oh, because already I'm like, don't say that. I don't want him. I don't want him. And is what I'm worried about is with the talk of the Giants and Sanders and maybe coming back up into the first or getting him in the second or, getting him wherever he slides to, is them trying to go Hunter Sanders. I just don't know if that's the combo like I want to bring in. I would rather bring in Abdul Carter and then maybe a Sanders or maybe a Jalen Milroe later in a second or third round. Like that's where I would think, but I would much prefer Abdul Carter. I think he's going to be really good on the next level. And
one thing we've always agreed on: you win football games by winning the line of scrimmage. Yes, do you need your quarterback? Yes, but if you don't have a pass rush, I don't care if you have the greatest corners in the world and in the history of the NFL, they're not gonna be able to stop the passing game because the quarterback's gonna stand there, and if the quarterback gets to stand for more than 5 seconds, he's finding somebody that's open. And I'm talking stand, like not to run around and scramble to save his life. I'm talking stand there, read it, clean pocket. Any quarterback in the NFL will pick a defense apart if they have time like that. You have to win the line of scrimmage first. So if I am you as a Giants fan, and we'll again go deeper into this stuff next week. But if I'm a Giants fan, I want Carter. He's my top guy. I want the guy that can disrupt the game on one snap and change everything, not the corner that might be able to hold the number one wide receiver to 2 catches and 37 yards, because NFL teams can still beat that. So that's how I'm thinking. But either way, the retirement of the jerseys would probably be the second dumbest college topic that we've covered so far when it comes down to. Yeah, I'm a leave. I really don't know how to say that.
I'm a leaving. I'm a leaver.
Yeah, so between that and the jersey retirements, I'm still going to put I'm a leaver as the number one knuckleheaded news of the day, and we'll put the jersey retirements as number 2 in my book. I don't know if you would agree with that ranking.
I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to put the jersey because listen, if he really thought he was going to like leave Tennessee and get more money, and he had people around him, then maybe I can't fault him because he had bad advice and he had people hyping him up that shouldn't have been hyping him up. Like, this is self-inflicted by the Colorado and Sanders and Hunter. Like, they didn't have to, like you said, it's just too early for it. So for me, I'm going to put that story 1 and the I'm going to leave it 2. And I'm going to leave, and I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there.
Take the headset off, just walk away.
Like Andy Reid says.
How about that D, baby?
Abdul Carter, baby. Abdul Carter. But, speaking of next level, we'll go here next, I guess. I don't really have sound for it, so I'll just I'm going to play this because this weekend...
More than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution.
And I think we could all agree that if that was anybody, that was Rory McIlroy this weekend. He wanted better execution. He got it. Because he finally broke the hump, finally won the Masters, and got his Grand Slam. And that's something worth talking about because we don't talk a lot of golf nowadays. Because, listen, Tiger drives golf for the most part, but only 6 people have ever done it. I'll be honest, I thought I could have named the 6 people. I couldn't.
Nope. When they named
so
them,
I knew Nicholas, I knew Player, I knew Tiger, I knew there's another one I knew too in there. But then I knew Rory, but I was like, there was one in there like I was baffled by, to be honest with you. I was like, who is this guy and when did he play? I don't know if it was the 1800s or what, but yeah, just super interesting. I mean, they had to go into a playoff, sudden death 18th hole, right? And that was right after he had just bogeyed the 18th, and
a par would have won it for him.
Yeah,
and he ended up, and it wasn't a very hard putt. He just didn't read it the right way. It was funny because like I'm not a big sit down and like really watch golf guy, but like I knew going into Sunday that Rory was in the leader, and I've always been a fan of Rory. Always liked him. Always liked his game. Used to love the Nike commercials that he would do with Tiger Woods. Like, always been a big Rory fan. And so I'm like, you know what? I want to watch this. So I put it on. It was like the 8th or 9th hole of the day for Rory, and saw where he was at. Watched him get to the point where he got up 4 strokes. And I'm like, oh, come on, Rory. Like, yeah, I'm sitting there counting down the holes as each hole ends. I'm like, all right, 7 left, 6 left. And then he gets to 13, and he has this easy chip shot. He's just got to get close to the pin, tap it in for par. Life is good. Yes, hi. Yes,
Louis was super excited to watch it on Sunday too.
Yeah. So, so we end up. So I'm watching, and I watch him just do this chunker into the water, and simultaneously as he does that, Rose bangs like a 30-something foot putt that all of a sudden you had a 4-stroke swing in less than 10 minutes. And it went from him having a 4-stroke lead to him being tied atop the leaderboard. And I'm like, oh my God, tell me he's not going to choke. Tell me he's not going to choke. So I'm watching it. Shout out to Amanda. I told her, I'm like, my dad, if he wasn't sure about her, would have fell in love with her that day, because me and her were intently and seriously watching these holes and watching Rory and rooting for Rory. When he lined up for the putt on 18, that if he made it, would have won it there. Amanda couldn't even watch it. She had to pull up her shirt and hide her eyes. She couldn't watch it. She was so nervous for him. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, come on, Rory, you got this. And it just slightly goes off. And I'm like, no. Because Rose just started playing out of his mind on the back 9. And Rory, like, all of a sudden just kind of teetered off. And I'm like, oh, no, this ain't good. No, this ain't good. Some of the shots look, I could talk about this probably for 20 minutes without even trying, because like I genuinely was in it. But what I will say is this: the emotion you saw when he hit that putt in the playoff. We watch these athletes play, right? No matter what sport it is, we watch these athletes play, and they try to act like they don't hear the outside noise, and they try to act like they don't feel the pressure and the stress, and here, like, I don't care what LeBron says. There's a piece of him that whenever he retires is going to be very upset that he was never able to surpass Jordan or even Kobe when it comes down to the NBA championships that he won, right? He may never say it out loud. We may never hear those words, but I will bet my life that there's a part of him that's going to be very bothered by that, right? You saw in Rory how 11 years of him falling apart at some point or another in the Masters, right? A couple years he didn't even make the cut, right? 1 year he finished in 2nd, another year he finished in 5th, like always right there, but could never do it, right? You saw all of that just come off of him when that putt went in. And I will be fully honest, I teared up. I felt that emotion coming from him. And the broadcasters, I thought, did an amazing job. Somebody tracked it in the final 7 minutes from right after he made the putt until you hear him say, I got to go get my green jacket. One of the best little lines that the camera picked up. They said all of 10 words after they like recognized what he did and all that. They let the audience be part of that moment with him, and it was amazing. They executed it perfectly. And in the moment, I'm like, why is it so quiet? But like, once you kind of let yourself just be there, you realize like they're letting you live this with him. So I thought that was amazing. I thought Justin Rose handled it like a true professional. It was his 2nd time in his career that he lost in a playoff at the Masters. So that's a big deal for him. But Rory getting the Grand Slam, what I thought was so crazy, it was only, I think it was 17 days difference from how long it took from him winning his first major to completing the Grand Slam. It only took him 17 more days than it took Tiger Woods.
Wow.
Like, because you didn't realize, because Tiger won the Masters so early in his career, it was like whatever major it was, I can't remember what it was. But when it came down to days on the calendar, it only took Rory 17 more days than it took Tiger Woods to complete his career Grand Slam. So I think that's pretty freaking cool to think about.
It is.
Like that's something that Rory should hold his head up about, to know, like, all right, somebody I looked up to, like, they only did this about 2.5 weeks faster than I did in their lifetime. So it was an awesome moment. I loved it. It was one of those moments where I really wish my dad was here, because my dad was such a golf guy. Every weekend had golf on. So, like, I wish he was here, because I think that was something he would have loved to have watched. And it was just cool to get a chance to see that. And like I said, the emotions that he showed, like, it hit me. Like, I really felt that. And I was very happy for him in that moment, for somebody that I've never met before in my life, will never ever meet, and probably doesn't give two craps that I exist. I felt that emotion, and I was invested in that with him. So I was very happy to see him.
That's what sports are all about, my friend. That's what sports are all about. And that's why we watch them, is to have those emotions, to have those feelings connected to people that we don't know. We'll never know, but what we know is that we're a fan of what they just did, and we're cheering them on. And even if they don't know us, that, you know, it's just that fandom, and that, you know, and it's special. And to be honest, like you said, you haven't really paid attention to the Masters much in the last bunch of years, and this one you did, and you ended up watching something special. So shout out to Rory, shout out to his Grand Slam, and yeah, I'm going to shout out somebody else too, because this just happened. I believe it was just the other day. But we're going to... Oh, no. Oh, you went with the other one, so we can go with that one. Okay, we can go with that one first.
I thought that's where you were going. I thought we were congratulating.
No, that's this guy here, a little NHL.
There you go. Now
so we'll go with that one first, because there's a lot of good, like, positive things happening. One of those being Ovi finally does it, breaks the record. I didn't think he'd get there this year, but he did. Did it while only playing, I think, like 60 games too, because he had a broken leg at one point or something. He battled back through injuries. He wants to continue playing after this, as he wants to keep playing as long as he can. True warrior of the sport, one of the all-time greats, and now the all-time goals leader, Alexander Ovechkin from the Washington Capitals. And if I'm not mistaken, he's done it all with the Capitals.
Yep, all with the Capitals.
You know, shout out to him, shout out to the Capitals. But yeah, this is a record not many or people thought would ever be broken, and Ovi did it. Now, he's nowhere near where Gretzky is in assists, and that's why I don't think you can call him necessarily the GOAT. But if you want to start having Mount Rushmore conversations, because, I mean, if you talk about the old Mount Rushmore, you had Gretzky or Hull, and, like, I'm forgetting.
There's a lot.
But Ovi is starting to get into that category of names that is going to be an all-time great. Well, and, you know, one of the ones that people are going to think about as, you know, one of the greatest, he's probably the greatest of his generation. Him, Sidney Crosby, like, that's the greatest of that generation, right?
Yeah, and remember when they first entered the league, it was Crosby and Ovechkin. Like, do we have our next, you know, Gretzky and Lemieux, right? Like, do we have that, right? And there's another name you might consider for your Mount Rushmore in hockey, right? But, like, I think what really impressed me, because I was with you, and I remember, I think it was the last time we were in studio that we touched on it, that I said I didn't see him being able to do it, because he basically would have had to have average a goal every other game for the rest of the season, and that's not easy to do in hockey. But what's even crazier to think about is, like, he's 20 years, this is his 20th year in the NHL, and he scored almost 900 goals. Like, that's over 40 goals a year. And anybody that follows hockey will tell you, there's not many guys in the league that get over 40 goals a season. I mean, most people, he
did it in right around the same amount of games as Gretzky, right?
So I pulled that up. I wanted to shout out our boy Fife. Shout out to Fife. He shared this with us in our group chat. So Gretzky scored 894 goals playing 1,487 games. Ovechkin scored his 894th goal in his 1,486th game. So he got there one game before Gretzky, and then breaks the record in the next, I believe it was the next game. Like, just unbelievable. I thought it was also really cool that Gretzky was there. Like, I thought
he wanted to be there.
Yeah, like, I thought that was really cool. And like, that's what you really want to see out of the greats. Like, in the NBA, they constantly talk, well, these guys could never play in our generation, and you know the guys playing now are like, oh, those guys are just old and bitter. Like they're at, like hockey, like that respect level. Like I can't I can't imagine setting a record like that and rooting for it to be broken. But simultaneously, when you had it for almost 25, 30 years, like I guess it's a little easier pill to swallow, right? If I broke it in 2024 and in 2025 somebody broke my record, I'm gonna be really pissed because then my record really doesn't mean too much, right? But his record stood for decades. And the appreciation and the respect that he had for Ovechkin, understanding how hard it was, and like you see it in Ovechkin, his passion. He was the most fun guy I ever saw after winning a Stanley Cup. Remember all those videos that came out with him with the Stanley Cup, chugging out of it, bringing it to different places?
Oh, he loves it. He loves hockey.
Yeah, like, and then you hear, like, he told Pat McAfee, I think I just saw while we were looking, oh no, he was talking about how, you know, he thought his chase for the record was great for hockey. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. But I also think somebody said too that, or he came out.
It was actually good for the Capitals in a way because I think it helped push them to score. It helped push them offensively. So I think it could have helped them down the stretch. Now, as far as standings go, playoffs go, I mean, it's not always a team that, you know, you want to go in hot, but, you know, it's not always a team that wins the President's Trophy. Did they win the President's Trophy this year? They might have. Go to the standings real quick.
I don't think they did. I could be wrong. Washington.
111.
114 now. Winnipeg.
No, okay, Winnipeg.
So, yeah, so Winnipeg won the President's Cup, so that means they will not win the Stanley Cup. Let's be honest. But you do have Washington in the play. And like you said, I think that helped drive the team.
How about that, though, that it going to the playoffs real quick? And I know we want to get Fife on here to talk about it more. Oh, it's, never mind. All right, Eastern Conference matchups. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got the Devils versus Carolina, is it?
Yep. Yeah, so that's your current playoff matchups. But
why does that have Devils Red Wings?
I think this is the upcoming
end of the regular
season. These are the upcoming
Okay.
games. So these are like games that are left, but right now your current matchups, which can still change with how the standings are. The playoffs start on Saturday. I think the final games are.
If I'm not mistaken, though, I think the Devils are locked into playing Carolina. So I think they're already selling tickets. From what I've heard, this is something we've talked about, but it's been years since we've talked about it. What do you think about what Carolina's doing? Because I also heard the Detroit Pistons are doing this to the Knicks in the NBA playoffs. They're not letting you buy tickets. If you're outside of a certain area code, it will not let you buy the tickets.
It's based off your billing address.
Yes. So it's screwing a lot of New York fans that want to go down and watch. Now, I know a lot of them are scared because they know what happened in Philadelphia last year with the Knicks, and they turned it into MSG South and all that. And I know the Pistons are, you know, but I mean, is Carolina really worried about that many Devils fans filling the building? Like, I gotta be honest, me and you love the Devils. You go to games and everything else. But are you driving to Carolina? I don't think a lot are. So, like, to me, to block the few people that would, the few diehards that really would, the season ticket holders that go to 82 games and now want to go to the play or go to 41 home games. Now they want to go to the playoffs, even if it's in Carolina. They're going to take a trip. They're going to spend their hard-earned money, but they can't because they don't live in a certain region. To me, that's BS. If you want to spend your money, it should be like a ticket to anything else. If you live in this country and you want to spend your ticket on a sporting event, it doesn't matter if it's from here or in California. If you've got the means to get there and you want to go to the game, why can't you buy a ticket to go to that game? That's free market. That's capitalism. Why are we fighting that? Like, I don't understand it.
I understand why they're doing it because they're going to sell out.
They're salty.
They're going to sell out the arena either way, and Dallas, the Devils in Carolina. Carolina is who eliminated the Devils not last year, 2 years ago. The last time the Devils were in the playoffs. And that stadium is insane. Like, that crowd is freaking loud, right? And I think I think they're trying to maximize, you know, your quote unquote home ice advantage, right? And I think I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it, but I also think that there's got to be a window. So what I mean by that is, okay, hey, tickets go on sale Monday, April 14th, right? Starting at midnight on Friday, April 18th, ticket sales open up to everybody. So you give your home crowd fans a chance to buy up all the tickets and take over the stadium. But to just completely say, no, if you're from a different state, or a different, certain zip code or area code, you can't. That I don't like. But I do think the idea of saying, hey, for this 4-day stretch of time, you have to live in the local area to be able to come to buy tickets to this game. But starting on this day, at this time, whatever's left is free for, not free, but like it's a free for all, right? Anybody can purchase tickets, whoever the hell wants to be here.
So say first 24 hours, our fans only. Everything after 24 hours open.
Exactly. Like I think that's the way I think would be the right way to do it. Because look, are there certain cities that I would not go to a game to? Yes. Like I would never go to Philly and watch a Cowboys game. I would never, because I wouldn't have the patience for it. Whether Dallas was winning or Dallas lost, I wouldn't have the patience for it. I would either end up in a fight or I would leave early because I wouldn't want to get into a fight, and then I'm throwing a bunch of money away, right? I think if you think that about a Carolina sporting team, I just don't think you have to worry about physical violence. Like, yes, there's always idiots. There's always going to be idiots. But, like, for the most part, I would feel pretty safe in Carolina. And, like, even if somebody heckled me, if I was like, all right, enough. Like, I get the feeling most people in Carolina be like, all right, we're good. Like, as long as you don't come back at me, we're cool, right? Like, so I think restricting other teams' fans from attending the game is just kind of sad. Like, you're really, are you really that worried? Like, their fans are like, if like Jerry Jones would never do that, because if he wouldn't sell out his stadiums, I mean, the amount of games they have in Dallas that you can hear the other team's home crowd over Cowboys fans is mind blowing. So I get the idea of like, hey, we're going to restrict this, but I don't think you should be able to restrict it the whole time. Like, this is something to me the NHL should step in and be like, hey, like, you can do this for a set period of time, but you can't just block other teams' fans from buying tickets and attending these games. Because what about the people that maybe live in South Carolina, right? Like, it's maybe a 2-hour drive. Like,
and where is the limit? Like, that's where do you draw that bubble limit? Like, what if I'm in New Jersey, but I'm a Carolina fan because, see, my grandparents live down there. Like, that's how I'm an Alabama fan. My grandparents lived in Alabama when I grew up. I got to go down there and visit. I went to Iron Bowl games. I've worn Alabama gear up here since I was in middle school. If you tried to tell me that Alabama was in the biggest game in the world and I had a chance to go to that game and I wasn't allowed to go because I lived in New Jersey and they blocked me because I didn't live in Alabama, I'd be pissed.
yeah.
Lifelong fan. My dad's been on the field. Like, this isn't just small potatoes here.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't me. I picked it up when Nick Saban came around. No, I can remember where I was when they won the championship in '92. That's how far back my memory of being an Alabama fan goes back. And I know it goes back further than that, but that's one of the first football games I can remember watching was that '92 championship game against Miami. But I say all that because it's what being a fan is. So, like, you can't just draw boxes around and say, oh, only people from this area, because you may cut off part of your own fan base. It's not going to get pissed off at you. Like, that to me is, like, where I don't get it. Like, and, speaking of Florida, where I just was for a while, there's a lot of transplants down there. There's a lot of people who are Giants fans, whatever. If you had a Giant event, say, up here, and they were playing Tampa, and the Giants said, nope, well, anybody, that's outside of the, 973 area code can't buy tickets, people would get pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I wish there was a better alternative to this, but I think the best way to sum it up is what you said. It's just plain sad.
It is. And it's just not necessary. But at the same time, right, like, I do get it, right? Like, you want the utmost, largest crowd advantage you can possibly get, and they already have a really good one at Carolina. So if you can guarantee all 20-something thousand people are Hurricanes fans, like, you are giving yourself one hell of a chance. So I Look, if the Devils have to play Carolina, I am very nervous about a first round exit. I will say that much.
Well, speaking of first round, that's a perfect transition to where I want to go next. Because speaking of first round, WNBA, nobody talks more WNBA than we do.
Nobody talks more
Nobody,
WNBA
and we
than
can't
us.
not talk about the WNBA draft that just happened. How Paige Buekers
Buckets.
goes number 1 overall to the Dallas Wings. I believe somebody from France was drafted number 2 overall. So it was interesting to see that there's an international pool coming in of women too. So I have to keep my eye on that. I know that New York a couple years ago drafted somebody, stashed them away, ended up helping them win this year. So, never know what could happen. But Paige going number 1 overall, I don't think it's a shock to anybody.
And huge national championship win for UConn. Gino just the guy just don't quit.
I think he's got 12 or 13 now in pretty much 30 years. It's ridiculous.
Insane. Like it's literally insane. It's like the run the Patriots went on in that 7 Super Bowls in 10 years or whatever.
It's
right?
true.
Like it's just it's ludicrous. But I know it's Bueckers, right? But like I love calling her Paige Buckets, right? Like I love that. And I think one of my favorite what I find so funny is because she's been a big college name for a couple years now, right? So
had a couple injuries though that derailed for a little while.
They're already advertising the tickets for when they travel to Indiana to play play our girl Caitlin Clark. So like it's another name, right? It's another name that's going to come into this league and help generate revenue and grow the league.
Yep.
And that, going back to why we started all this last year, talking about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark and even the college basketball for women, like it's great to see the game grow because these women play a physical and aggressive game of basketball. The athleticism doesn't match the men's. Understandable. But the physicality and how they play the game of basketball, the men can't touch. Like, the men do not play basketball like these women. Like, these women go out there and they go at each other. And I'm excited to see her get in the league, but I think you got to give her the same kind of understanding that we gave Caitlin Clark, where, like...
It'll be a couple weeks, I think. They start in May.
The draft just happened, and in the next 3 weeks, she's going to be suiting up for her first WNBA game. So no real training camp, no real anything. She's just going from winning a national championship, which Caitlin Clark couldn't do, and going right to playing in the WNBA as the number 1 overall pick. And I will not be surprised if you see the league treat her similar to how they treated Caitlin Clark, with giving her a little extra, elbow in the rib or, whatever it might be. But go Paige Buckets. I'm rooting
real
for
small.
you.
Did you hear about any Angel Reese stuff lately? Because I heard one little rumor out there, and to me, I didn't catch the whole story. Don't know if you have any more on it, but I just thought it was utterly ridiculous. Somebody had brought up, I guess she was doing a podcast, and that I don't think she brought it up. I think the host of the podcast brought up that she should be paid as much as LeBron James because she does as much on the court as LeBron does. And I just thought that was a bit, I was like, you might want to pump the brakes there. You might want to, like, I'm all for getting you guys some more money and making it better, making it a better environment, making it more fun, getting everybody up on a higher plane. But you're not getting LeBron money. I'm sorry.
And until the NBA no longer has to, supplement the league to keep it alive, that's just not happening. What I will say is I did hear about that, and people started going after Angel Reese for it. And she came out and she clarified, and she's like, look, the way the clip was cut makes it sound like I said that I should get paid like LeBron James. But what she actually said was, I think it'd be really cool if I got paid like LeBron James. Like, she's even aware of the fact that, like, it's a whole different world. Like, that to me, remember when we were talking, I think it was last week, about the flag football stuff? Right, like that to me would be like a flag football player coming out, the best flag football wide receiver, we'll just say, coming out and saying, I should make as much money as Jamar Chase. No, you should stop it, right? Like that to me is the level of not competitiveness, but athleticism and skill that you see. That's the difference, right? Like the WNBA is just not there. They'll get there one day, right? These women have gotten faster and stronger and more athletic as the
Listen,
years
the games
go
are
by.
getting more entertaining to watch too.
Yeah. I mean, I was glued to the WNBA finals last year. I was glued to Game 5 and that went going to overtime, like glued to that game. It was a great game. And it put me in a position where if I'm flipping channels and I see a WNBA game, I'm going to stop and watch it for a little bit. And maybe they suck me in, maybe they don't. I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna at least watch.
Speaking of, though, and speaking of watching, the last thing we got to really bring up here, we're going to keep it in this realm here of basketball, but because he's only the third man to ever do it. And first do it in the last couple years. I don't think Russ has done it in a while. But I'm talking about a couple weeks ago, we had a big discussion here about whether Jokic or SGA was going to be the MVP this season. And we pretty much a few weeks ago threw in the towel and said, it's SGA. It's over. Stick a fork in it. Done. Joker's won it a few times. It's, time for him to take a little backseat and SGA gets this one. I don't know if you could do that now. Man finished with a triple-double. As a center. As a 7-foot tall, goofy-looking guy. And I'm just calling it what it is. He's amazing. He's flat out amazing. He gives hope to every kid out there that's playing on a basketball court that just looks like a normal kid and is just like, I can get on a court too. Yes, you can. If you look like him and you're 7 foot tall, you can. The guy is phenomenal. He passes, he shoots, he defends, he does everything you want a guy to do on the basketball court. Granted, sometimes you may want him to care a little bit more about the sport because he loves horse racing more, but at the same time, what this guy does with a basketball in his hands is absolutely special, and you don't get to see it. And not only that, but like he did it in a level where, this is the first time he's done it, but now it's like you look at it before, and when people talk about Russ doing it, they're like, oh well, he's just a one-man show. He just wants the ball. He just wants all the credit. He wants all the stats. Like he's just a stat compiler.
And when Russ did it, his teams weren't
horrible. Winning. They weren't winning.
Not good. Jokic got his team to I think the number 2 seed.
Yeah, he's damn good, and they win championships. And not only that, but he continues to do things that most other people don't do. Now Oscar Robertson did it a few times, and Russ did it a few times. Jokic's only done it once, but to be honest, from a center, when is the last time a center, like Sabonis maybe years ago? Like
no center ever averages triple double.
Well, no, not average triple double. I'm saying like average like even 10 assists. Like even if you wanted to say that, you'd
have to probably go back a while. So I'll say this.
I don't think you can find one.
What Jokic did this year, unbelievable. But really quick, I think it is even more insane to think about how Jokic and Luka, how they take care of their bodies, how they invest in their bodies, and the lack of just overall preparation it looks like they put in to get ready for a season, and that they're that damn good. Like imagine if those guys took care of their bodies and worked on their physical attributes the same way as somebody like a LeBron James, right? LeBron James spends over $2 million a year just to take care of his body, right? Imagine if those guys even put in half that. How much, like they could actually be better than what they are. And they realize that they don't have to take all this time working out and eating right and all that crap. And they're still going to be some of the best players in the world. With that said, when it comes down to the MVP race, 2 reasons he's not going to win it. 1, again, he's won 2 in the last 3 years. 2, his team finished 18 games behind OKC. Most valuable player is one of the biggest issues we have a lot, especially in like other sports. An MVP tends to just be like, oh, well, he was the greatest player this season, but it doesn't matter how the team performed. To me, when you're the most valuable player, it means you bring the most value to your team. You bring the most value to the league. Mm-hmm. This year, SGA is the guy that did that.
No, you didn't. And I'm gonna prove my point now.
I promise you.
I'm gonna prove my point now because he scored 32.7 a game. He led the league in scoring. Great. Jokic, 3rd in scoring, 29.6. Jokic, 3rd in rebounds at 12.7. Jokic, number 2 in the league as a center. Number 2 in the league and only one of 2 players in the league to average over 10 assists a game.
You got this one for you too, because this was the
Steals
other,
as well.
the other stat I was going to give you.
Yeah, but so throughout any of these other lists, where do you see SGA once? Give him to me once, right there at the bottom of steals. Outside of there, he's not in the top 5 of anything else.
He's tied for 4th. I mean, we're not talking like anything else. But again, he led his team to a record that is 18 games better than the record of Jokic's team, and Jokic's team has more talent.
No, I would disagree. Some of the best young talent is on OKC.
Yeah, some of the best young talent.
If you took Jokic off of the Denver, they are not a playoff team. They are not a playoff team without Jokic.
I mean, Jamal Murray and some of those other guys would like to disagree with
they
you.
They could try, but they're going to fail. You can't throw away a triple-double.
SGA off of OKC, they're not a playoff team either.
I disagree.
He carried that team. Not carried. That's the wrong way to say it.
I think Jokic carried the Nuggets.
I wouldn't agree with that either. But you point
well, at least we're dying on some different hills to end here. We're dying on some different hills.
You did point out something that is an unbelievable stat. So Jokic is, for the first time in NBA history, he is the first player ever to finish in the top 3 or higher in points, rebounds, steals, and assists. No player in the history of the league has finished top 3 or higher.
Deserves
in
MVP.
all 4 of those categories. I promise you, he's not winning MVP.
He may not, but he deserves it in my book, and I'll die on that hill all day long.
So, is that are we on a tortilla slap bet on this one, or are you aware that I'm right on this, but you just believe that Jokic deserves it?
No, being that we have no idea of what I believe they're doing the voting now, actually.
It'll come out before the playoffs, yeah.
I'm going to go yes, you go no. So now if it's anybody but those 2.
Which it won't be. It is
then
without
it's a draw. Then it's a draw. I just want to make sure it's that.
Yeah. If it's anybody but those 2, we just call it a draw. Nobody gets slapped, or we both get slapped. But
nobody gets slapped.
If Shaw wins, you get slapped. If Jokic wins, I get slapped.
All right.
All right. Marissa, I know it's probably the first time you joined us, so I want you to know there are multiple times where myself, shout out to Joey D, and I think you've caught one.
I've caught one.
I still owed you one, but I can't even remember what it's for, so I don't think
we
that
watched
counts
them
at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do tortilla slap bets for our die on the hill. So Eric's willing to die on the hill that Jokic wins MVP. I'm willing to die on the hill that Sean Gilgis Alexander. We're just going to SGA. That he wins MVP. So if I'm right, I get to slap Eric with a tortilla. If he's right, he gets to slap me. And if we're both wrong, nobody gets slapped. Maybe we just give Louis a tortilla to eat because he's adorable and we love Louis. So, but
he joined us a few times now. He wanted to get his opinion too.
He even gave the mic a kiss, man. He was ready for it. So, but I think it's nice because the last couple of shows we have really been on this agreement trend. And like I know you get to the point where if that happens too much, you get to the point you disagree just to disagree. I seem to be one of the few people that can actually handle that with you and not get to the point where I want to jump out of a window or throw you out of a window. But I'm glad we didn't have to get to that point, and we did find something to disagree on. And I love the fact that I know I'm right, and SGA is going to win it. So,
hey, Dave.
Stop it. Get some help.
With that, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
Oh,
let's get out of here and go have some dinner.
Yeah, so we're still on that tweet machine known as Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, as David Hastings 23. You can also find me on Instagram, D Hastings 23. And just really quick, I gotta shout this out. I doubt she's listening. She's probably sound asleep. To my wonderful fiance who she's almost 7 months pregnant and spent the almost 8 hours today cleaning our house and putting baby stuff away and all this stuff. I got to shout her out for that, but also today marks the 1 year countdown to our wedding day. So I want to make sure I shout that out. Very, very excited to have that day get here. Don't want to rush it. Want to enjoy all the things that are going to lead up to it. But we are officially hit. We are now at the 1 year mark until we get married, and we are about 2 months and 2 weeks until our baby girl is due. Had a great anatomy scan yesterday. Doctor came in, arguably one of the best feelings I ever had in my life. Came in and looked at us, and he's like, "Just keep doing what you're doing," because the anatomy scan is petrifying. That's where they're looking at all the bones and the size of the head, and like looking at the valves of the heart. So like that's the moment where they might come in and say, "Hey," So you walk into it so scared. And to have him come in there and tell us that yesterday or on Monday was such a great feeling, and I'm just very, very excited. So
I'm excited for you, my friend.
Thank you, my brother.
I'm excited for you, and I don't know. I got nothing to top that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
so listen, I'm just happy
just
for you and
tell 'em where we're
Amanda.
from.
And you can follow me at The Living Legend on X or Twitter, whatever you want to say. You can follow us on Facebook at Die on This Hill. You can follow us on YouTube at Die on This Hill. And follow Louis on Instagram as well at Louis Aussie Dude. And until next time. By the way, no, one more thing. Shout out to the people who join us in the chat. Shout out to Timmy. Shout out to Marissa. Shout out to anybody who's commenting in the chat. We appreciate all the interaction we can get. Shout out to Marissa. She hasn't listened to us in a long time from what I know. So shout out to her just jumping on tonight and giving us a listen. Shout out to Tim as well, because it's been a while since Tim's joined us too. So shout out to Tim.
I'm just glad she didn't join us 2 months ago, and I didn't have to, because she would have just blown up our chat with the Eagles won another Super Bowl. So real glad we had enough gap in time. She's already saying don't talk about the Sixers. Hopefully the Phillies can do something. So I don't have. Thankfully, Marissa, really appreciate you waiting till now to hop in.
She really should say thank you to us Giants fans though for the present of Saquon Barkley, because he was the difference maker in that team, and it's going to haunt Giants fans for the rest of our lives. So until next time, though.
I mean, this was a roller coaster wrap up, man. Highs, lows, all of it. But yeah.
What do we say, though? Don't be afraid to have an opinion.
And die on this hill, baby. Let's go.
Boom. Dance it out.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Be good. See y'all next week.